90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. You're listening to A Blast from the Past, and I am your host, Brian Crespo. And guys, after months of tweeting to Rise Records and spamming them constantly, even though they chose to ignore me, I'll remember that one. I finally am honored to have members of Idola. So without further ado, guys, please introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Sergio, and I play guitar in Idola.
Hi, my name's Andrew. I sing and play guitar in Idola.
And write everything, and is the mastermind behind the entire band and its vision.
He's like the master, the evil genius behind the creation.
And that guy.
How have you guys been though? Like throughout this whole month, given the I wouldn't say extraordinary year, but the surprising year we've had. How have you guys been?
I don't know. No, I've been all right. I'm just still trying to keep busy with music. A lot of big things have happened with the record label and Idola finally being able to have some more concrete talks about when we're going to finally release this record. Andrew, I don't know what you want to say in regards to that, but
I mean, I've been good. I've been chilling, dude. I do a lot of work at home. I've been staying busy with my wife and my little dog that we got for Christmas. So it's been a nice time at home. But yeah, it's been cool to kind of hear how this whole record label situation's panning out, because it's been months and months and months in the making. So it sounds like Rise has a good vision for it. So it'll be a good release.
It's actually been a year and a half.
Yup.
Year and a half.
Yes, it has. Yeah. I've had masters for this record for I think it's 10 months.
Wow, yeah. Crazy. We'll get into the architect a little bit later, because a lot of fans are asking about this record. But firstly, I want to start with something basic. I'm going to start with the basics and then work my way up, I guess. Get the pressure on. So I want to go into Blue Swan Records with Rise Records. So Rise Records acquired Blue Swan, correct?
So to speak. Legally, I think the phrase is strategic alliance.
Strategic alliance.
Think that's what the contract said. So it's not an acquisition because we didn't get completely bought out. We're still independent. We can still make our own creative choices. But we're now in direct partnership with Rise/BMG, because BMG does own Rise. Rise was actually acquired by BMG a couple years ago, and now we're just kind of under that umbrella.
So for you guys, it feels like you guys are part of history now within the whole scene, I guess, in a way, if that makes sense, because you guys are finally being able to, artists are allowed to express themselves creatively, give the art that they want to give, as opposed to record labels saying, no, we want this from you guys.
Well, with Blue Swan, Will has never told us not to do or to do something specific. As the label head, he's always been somebody who just wanted his bands to just be themselves and be as creative as they wanted and do what they wanted to do. Yeah, as any label should, really. But right now we're so early on with the partnership that we don't know what it's like yet. It's only been really 2 weeks since this all really kicked off. But the whole Idola record's done, all the artwork for it is done. And so we don't see any kind of creative decision making from above to try to influence Idola, because everything's already done.
Okay.
And I don't think that would even happen in this scenario. I don't think there's anybody who can come in and say what we can and can't do within reason.
Of course. So that's good to know. I'm pretty sure that I got clarified a little bit with that said. So for you guys though, my question for each of you is So what led? So I guess your inspirations, like, well, who influenced you guys to pick up a guitar and decide what this is what I want to do? I'll start with Sergio and then Andrew.
Um, I actually went to it's kind of cheesy, but it put me on this trajectory my entire life. I went and saw the movie School of Rock with Jack Black, and it was 2003, I think, when that movie came out. And leaving the movie theater, I asked my dad I just simply asked my dad if I could get a guitar lesson. It wasn't like, Dad, it wasn't like this moment of clarity that snapped. I just asked after that movie happened if I could get some guitar lessons. And the very next day, my dad had called a spot in my hometown of Las Vegas for a guitar teacher, and I started playing guitar that way.
Awesome. Andrew?
I first got my first guitar when I was about 13, and it was just after I had seen I think it was the same show, but it was Good Charlotte and Green Day. It was Green Day on their American Idiot, huge, like massive stadium tour. It was like right when Green Day had like really popped into the huge mainstream, like that upper echelon of just pop culture. And I'd gone to that show, and I mean the seats were terrible. I mean, I was like super far away, but I got to see just the engagement that these guys had with their audience and this larger than life feel that this rock show brought into the lives of all these people. And I at that moment I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to pursue. So I got a guitar, and then after that I realized how difficult it was to get into the music industry. But I started playing shows when I was like 14, 15 years old, just to try to start chipping away at doing things independently. And I think what kind of re-solidified my desire to continue to pursue it, or at least to go into this realm of music with post-hardcore as my tastes developed, there were two bands. I think Circa Survive was a huge influence on me in my teen years. I think I went to like 10 or 11 Circa Survive shows. And another band, a post-metal band called ISIS, that's no longer active. They really inspired me. So yeah, they're very good. They're a killer band, classic, like cult following.
I'm sure they had a PR nightmare when
well, that's why I'm pretty sure that's why they disbanded. Yeah, I don't think that they're, or at least it contributed. So, but fantastic musicians, great band. I think it was awesome.
So then here's there's a follow-up question. So for Andrew, so then how did the concept of Idola begin then? Like the root, I guess.
So Idola started in 2011, technically. It really kicked off in 2012 when we got our drummer, Matt. We had kind of come up with the band through a series of other types of events. So I had moved to Boston, Massachusetts, outside, like at the end of my teen years, to try to go into a scholarship program for Berklee School of Music. And I did a little bit of work there, but it was extremely expensive. The cost of living was insane. And at the time I was in a band with a couple of different guys. I was in a band with my stepbrother, Brandon, who was the guitar player for Idola for a few years there, played on To Speak to Listen. And at the time, the band was called Follow the Earth. It was a 3-piece. We had a bunch of different members. That was like the main group that I was in throughout a lot of my teen years. And then once that disbanded, after we got back from Boston, I still was hungry. I still wanted to start something new. I started getting into bands like Dance Gavin Dance, and started getting into post-hardcore while still having a lot of prog influence, still kind of clinging to some of the post-metal elements that I was inspired by, some of the progressive rock, progressive metal, Perfect Circle.
We're like into the Tool.
Exactly. I was into Tool a lot. I was into like the Doors, like classic, like 70s music. Yeah. I was raised on a lot of 80s hair metal too, so that kind of trickles in there. And so I wanted to start a band, and the root of it was I worked at Walmart at the time, or had just finished working at Walmart when I had moved. was like my first job as a teenager outside of like making coffee as a barista. And I had known James and Matt in high school, and I'd worked with James and we became best friends. And he didn't play any instruments at the time. So I approached him and was like, hey, you look like you should be a musician. Let me teach you how to play bass. And so taught him how to play bass, and we started writing together. And then Matt Domer, I knew him from high school, and we didn't really like each other very much. We were in two like competing bands, so we'd play battle of bands against each other and be like very in that divisive like high school drama environment. So luckily we became very good friends later, and ended up he'd been a guitar player for a long time. So that was kind of the beginning of it. I was basically homeless at the time. I'd lived in a recording studio, little tiny room, probably the size of this bedroom that I'm in right now, for about a year, because I'd just gotten out of high school. I didn't have credit history. I didn't have rent history. I didn't have anybody that could hook me up with like a cool apartment or people to move in with. So I lived in a studio, sleeping basically on like a little cot in my studio, and that's where Idola was really formed. So James and Matt came out. We had an original drummer named Zach, but we replaced him pretty quickly with Matt Hansen. And after we recorded like a small EP, we went on to record The Great Glass Elephant with Matt, with another guy in the local scene here named Randy Cordner. So that was like our first real foray into like live performance and recording and developing the concept. And so we had a lot of like late nights just coming up with what we really wanted to accomplish as a band, and it's been a great journey ever since. So
Andrew, the follow-up question is, since you mentioned that you love going to Dance Gavin Dance, Tree City sessions too, how was that experience, like performing from a tower bridge?
It was awesome. It was incredible. I always have a great time with Dance Gavin Dance. They're some of my really good friends, and we've made some awesome music together.
Yes.
I love any chance that they invite me out to go write or record or tour or do stuff like this, like live streams. The first live stream was a lot of fun. It was kind of our first experience with that, so a lot of it was just like getting multiple takes and doing that whole jam, as a lot of people know. So Tower Bridge was a whole nother level. I think that for all of us, where that experience just felt like the next logical step for Dance Gavin Dance, kind of pushing the ceiling of what can be done in post-hardcore, what's been done before. I think that for all of us, it was just a really humbling, awesome experience.
I mean, I saw it. I was in shock. And also, like, my next question is, how, like, was it hard to hold back your laugh seeing John dance like that?
Oh, dude, I love it. It's one of my favorite things in Dance Gavin Dance, when you get to see John just let loose. So
I love it. Like, I just love seeing that you did, like, seeing everyone go for it. And you guys had some very nice outfits, which I saw that suit of yours. I'm like, I need that suit like that. I need
it was a classy affair. It was really cool. We had a lot of Rise records, and the team, like Sean had come out, and the Derek was out there, and it was a really good time. We got to just get all up and have a great experience. We got to pick the set. It was a lot of fan voted songs, which was really cool to kind of engage with the fans in that way. And we got to do some songs that I was really stoked on. I'm glad we got to do Nothing Shameful. I'm glad we got to do Evaporate.
I think Nothing Shameful was a perfect way to end the session.
Thanks. Yeah, I think so too. I had to
that's
hit
the
Sergio.
last song. That's right.
Yeah, I had to hit Sergio up because he recorded the guitar for that song, and I did the guest vocal, and I hit him up and was like, "Hey, send me. I could do this by ear, but some of these riffs are messed up." So I hit him up. He sent me an email with the video, learned the track, and then went and threw it down. So it was just a lot of fun.
And it was perfect. You nailed it. Because One July afternoon, I think in 2018 or 2019, before Afterburner came out, of course. Will picked me up from the airport and was like, "Hey, I gotta go to the studio really quick if you want to come with me." And I'm like, "All right." So I went with him, and it turned out I thought he had to just go pick something up, but he had to go write guitar for Nothing Shameful. And we just sat down and kept passing the guitar back and forth, but I ended up writing a good chunk of the second guitar. And I didn't know Andrew was going to be on that song, but it's crazy to think that you had to play all my parts and sing at the same time.
It's a very hard song, and I look at
Yeah.
Not easy, dude, but I've been having to play Will's parts and sing Tillian's backups for 5 years now, so I'm kind of used to it at this
You
point.
got the muscle memory and
you
dexterity.
do. So my follow-up question is, now I've read tweets, but I tend not to believe certain tweets. So
You probably shouldn't believe anybody on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's a
Twitter.
garbage website.
But sorry, we cut you off.
No, it's all good. No, I mean, yeah, sometimes for me it's like I'm not gonna believe it until I hear it officially, like not off a tweet. But my question is like, so you being like, I guess an honorary member, if that's the correct way to put it, do you see yourself in the near future being an official member of Dance Gavin Dance, or is Idola your sole purpose?
I think that my relationship with music has evolved over time, and I have a lot of priorities at home that I'm also trying to accomplish outside of music. I have a lot of career opportunities with the fitness industry, with some other things I'm trying to do here at home. And I think as that's evolved, my priorities with music have changed as well. And with Dance Gavin Dance, I love playing with those guys. We've discussed that moving forward, and a couple of things, in my mind that have always come up is this is the best lineup that Dance Gavin Dance has ever had. It's the most consistent lineup that they've had in their entire career. It's the most successful that they've ever been, is those 5 guys. And those 5 guys have been extremely successful every single record that they've put out. And I love contributing that, but I don't want to detract from that as a primary songwriter. I think that you had a lot of bands like this in the 70s, like you'd have Earth, Wind and Fire and these different collaborative projects where they would bring on other people to come in and kind of spice up what the core band would do. And I think DGD has a really great way of doing that, bringing in guitarists like Sergio, or Louis from Wolf and Bear, or Martin from Martin Miller, right? I don't want to, the primary reason is because I don't want to mess that lineup up or mess up the collaborative opportunities that Will has with other guitar players, because I'm officially the second guitar player of Dance Gavin Dance. It's not really, they treat me well. We've worked out a very good situation that's positive for all parties involved. If at some point in the future I'm contributing an excess amount to the album writing process and the visual components and the ideas, like if that were to happen, it would definitely be a consideration. But I would need to step my game up and come to the table with enough songs to contribute in that regard. You know what I mean? I think it's a killer lineup. They've done a great job with their legacy. I don't want to fringe on that,
No, so. I agree with you 100%, sometimes like you just like with a new member coming in, it's like, okay, so like now it's like now you have an additional member, like an additional voice being added. So it can change things,
Exactly. And the dynamic's been so successful, including our collaboration, that lineup with the 5 core guys, and me adding in a little flavor where it's needed, right? In some of the more epic or grandiose style songs, the closer or the near closers, with Nothing Shameful. So I think that it's a great formula, what we've got going. Why, it's the cliche, don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. Awesome. So then for Idola and for you guys, can we expect a future live stream for Idola?
We actually are talking about that recently.
Yeah. Very recently.
Yeah.
Very yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's let's save that for the next section. But right now, Sergio, I want a side question real quick. Do you ever take breaks from writing? Like you're in Nova Charisma, you're in Royal Code, and now I find out you're contributing to Nothing Shameful. And now,
Um,
as new
I
member of Idola, like it's like you're all over the place.
yeah. I don't really take breaks, but I also don't feel like I spend all my time doing this.
Uh-huh.
It might seem from an outside perspective that this is all it is kind of all I do. I just do music stuff, but man, there's a lot of days where I feel like I do nothing. And so when I get asked that kind of question, where like, do you ever take a break, or you ever I always think I do. It just from the outside feels like maybe I don't, but
I mean, given the
yeah.
fact that you're every time I hear someone's new work, it's like, oh, Sergio's part of this. I'm like, really? Like him too? Like, wow, like it's all over the place.
Yeah, I might be the mastermind of a band. Sergio's mastermind of a whole scene, dude.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not. No, I'm not. I'm not.
You're not. You're not. Okay, got it.
No, I appreciate that, but I don't know. I have this conversation quite a bit because I personally feel like I don't own I don't do as much as I could be doing. I always feel like I fall short of my potential, and so I think that's what keeps me motivated to keep working on stuff, because I just kind of feel like I need to keep working constantly,
Yeah.
and simultaneously feel that I'm not doing enough.
Well,
So
if it makes you feel better for us fans, you guys are doing a lot. So
we're trying.
so new Royal Coda or new Nova Charisma. I know Royal Coda is recording a new record. So any update on the new record?
Yeah, it just got done last night. Kurt called me at like midnight last night to tell me that it was finally done, because vocals are always last.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in the studio right now with Crummett. Today was his last day to record, but he finished one day early, and so he called me last night, all happy. And so the new Royal Coda record is done being recorded, but now it has to be mixed and it has to be mastered, and then we have to figure out in collaboration with Rise when is going to be the best time to release it, and hopefully that starts this summer, or maybe the fall, but I have no idea as of now. I just know that it's done, and I
It's
really
coming.
like it.
That's it. That's what matters. It's coming, guys.
Yeah.
And once again, as those who just tuned in, I'm with Sergio and Andrew from Idola. Now, Sergio, you recently joined Idola, replacing former guitarist Benton, as Andrew mentioned.
Brandon.
Brandon, not Ben.
Brandon. Benton.
Ben is
I do
Benton.
love a good Benton.
Benton was replaced by Andrew in Dance Gavin Dance. I replaced Brandon in Eidola.
It's like a hole.
It's a web. So it's a web.
It's all a web. But what's funny is people think that I just joined Idola, which I understand why, but
like 3 years.
I joined in it was October of 2017 is when Andrew called me asking if I could play Night of the Blue Swan 2017, which was December. So it's been since 2017.
Oh, okay.
That I've been playing with Idola.
The music industry's great, kids.
All right. Anyway, but so yeah, I mean, for the Architect now, what can fans expect from this record? It has been the most talked record everywhere. Everyone's getting impatient. People are giving memes to Rise Records because they want something. So I'm not gonna say like when's it gonna drop. It's more like how can you assure fans that it's coming, but they just gotta wait patiently.
If you think, I would say to the fans that are impatient, if you think you're impatient, just take a step back and imagine how we feel, right?
Yeah.
I put my heart and soul into this record. I recorded all of the bass. I recorded all of the main guitar lines. I wrote the record. I recorded all of the vocals. I learned how to scream for it. I did all of the production and programming. I played piano on it. I went hard on this record, and it's the best.
We're getting possibly you screaming on the record confirmed.
No, it's confirmed. It's not possible. It's on there. It's
on there.
recorded.
Confirmed. Okay.
100%. First track is me screaming my butt off. We'll go without a curse there. I worked super hard on it. Chris and I collaborated on a lot of great things. It's the best Idola record, hands down. It's one of the best things I've ever been a part of in my musical life, and it's going to be well worth the wait. I've been waiting many months for this to come out. I've said to my bandmates multiple times, let's just leak it, let's just drop it. I don't care. Give it to the fans. It needs to be out. But Rise Records took a very keen interest in it because they want to give it the platform that it deserves, and that stuff takes time. Even though we have all of the artwork done, all the music videos done, all of these extra auxiliary components that make a release really special for the fans, we have those components relatively done, but you still have to press vinyl, you have to print CDs, you have to prepare like a PR rollout. There's a lot of music industry stuff that goes into putting a record out properly, and Rise Record want to do that the right way. In the long haul. I don't know about the memes thing. Sergio, you might be able to comment on that. I'm not on social media, so I don't really see that stuff, but I had heard about it, obviously. So
yeah, the memes thing was just kind of a PR move, which works. We live in a meme economy. Memes travel fast, and if you have a group of people making 1,000 memes focused on one subject, it's gonna kind of spread a little bit.
And with that,
but yeah, no, you're good. I just I noticed we had no idea about it. Like Andrew said, he's off social media. I personally don't have a Twitter. I don't have a Twitter account for myself. We have the bands, of course, but I didn't know that was something that was happening until people were kind of getting upset that they made 1,000 memes and then they didn't get anything. And so I made a clip where we give away one of the really special parts of the record.
I was gonna get into that right now, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
Cool.
And so yeah, as I say, you put a clip, and this was what was heard around my time. Around this came around 10-11 p.m.
Yeah, it was late when I posted it.
So this we see the Rise Records tweet more memes, and this is being played. Literally, Twitter exploded. Well, within my timeline, it exploded because we officially got. Well, it confirmed there's two things. One, it's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it confirms that John is gonna be on the record.
Yeah.
So to give you side note, to give you a little perspective on how long this process has taken, John, when we were recording instruments for this record, I was also recording guitar for Headhunter with Dance Gavin Dance. So Dance Gavin came in midway through our tracking process to record Blood Wolf and Headhunter. And I asked John while we were recording Headhunter if he wanted to throw down some vocals on this record, and he agreed and wrote it all, in a day and went and threw it down. So that's how long it's taken to get this thing done and everything. So it's been a process. It's been a labor of love, but it's been a huge process. So it definitely is worth it.
Is this like are we getting John Mess lyrics, Dance Gavin Dance John, or this is a whole different John that we've never seen?
I would say it's definitely a different John. John's an incredibly smart individual. I think anyone that knows him would tell you that. And he, at least for this, he adapted his lyric style to be applicable to Idola. He's screaming about fractals and all sorts of crazy weirdness. So it's definitely
him.
Yeah. He's not screaming about broccoli. So he's
that's not a jab at him, by the way. He uses lyrics and his vocal style in a percussive way. a rhythmic percussive way. And so
Honestly, like John's probably like one of like he's like the vocalist, like, you know, that inspired me, you know, to practice screaming. So
nice.
all those pico de gallos and, you know, ay 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 ay, yeah, they were.
Yeah, John's great.
Sounds a great guy, and we love his dancing. So if he's listening, we love your dancing, man. Keep it up. Keep it up on the TikToks.
Wait, does he has a TikTok?
No, the Dance Game and Dance has a TikTok.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So they made it. So whoever runs the TikTok for Dance Game and Dance made a compilation of all of John's dances from the Tree City sessions.
Oh.
This is the most wonderful thing you've ever seen, probably. But with that said, you know, guys, we have a special treat for you. What you guys heard right now is going to be exclusive on WMSC. So I kid you not, like Andrew and Sergio were kind enough to send, you know, that song right now towards us. So guys, you ready to premiere it?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Ready? Here we go. So enjoy, folks. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Oh, Sergio was dancing.
Well, it'll happen soon. And I wish we could premiere a track from the record to close us out, but
Rise Records attorneys told them to say nothing. So
yeah.
Don't blame me, guys. I try my best.
No, it is coming. It is coming for sure. We're just in the final phases of the rollout right now. So
awesome.
Really should be putting something out here very shortly. I don't want to give anyone false hope, as that's been done many times before, that it's going to come out in a week or 2 weeks, but we're really aiming for the spring, you know, to really get this going. So
awesome. That's good to hear, you know. And you guys mentioned earlier that a possible live stream would be happening. So will you guys be performing The Architect in full live stream, or like with as well as Idola Classics?
That's a tough one. Yeah, if it were up to me, I would do The Architect probably in full.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, it would be awesome. That would be kind of the ideal scenario. The likelihood of that, I think, is kind of slim, just with putting together that type of event and making it. We want it to really be a kind of an authentic live experience. If that's what we do, we obviously don't have a Dance Gavin Dance budget to go play on a massive bridge, so you know it'll be a little bit more intimate, a little bit more low key.
But you know, regardless, fans will pay to see, because as an avid concert goer, this has been like my escape route. It's been good that these live streams have been happening, because even though I'm not there physically, like I'll be in my room jumping up and down, you know, and be like, yeah, I get that experience again. I get to hear you guys again. And in any way that contributes towards you guys, towards income wise, like we'll like me as a fan, will gladly help.
We appreciate that. I'd love to, man. As much as I know live streams are kind of a good thing to have for people to be held over. I just want to play live again.
I feel you.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
Final thoughts, guys. So it's a simple question. After, you know, life goes back to normal, is there any life lesson you're going to take from this pandemic? Something that's going to make you realize, okay, I got to change this part of me.
Andrew, do you want to go?
That's heavy. Yeah, there's a lot. I think a lot of people, if they're being honest with themselves, learned quite a bit about themselves, their close friends, their environment throughout this whole process. For me, it's just to continue to focus on gratitude. I think that you know, a very healthy process for me has been to get off social media for the past it's been about over 2 years now. That already was healthy, but even filling my time with, you know, political news or you know, any type of doomsday type of theory, it's just not mentally conducive. It's not very healthy. And I think that for me, being, you know, going through this process has just made me more grateful for the people that I have around me. that I love and cherish, and I want to continue to focus on that and continue to stay off the internet. So I'm gonna just keep on that path for a while.
I'm planning on doing that as well. So yeah, Sergio.
Yeah, and keeping what Andrew said, just focusing on being grateful for being able to, man, I just took so much for granted before the whole world kind of came to a halt. I would be at shows and venues thinking, man, it'd be nice to be home right now or in a bed, and not really taking um into consideration how lucky I used to be able to play shows and travel across the world, and just doing what I love doing, which is playing music. And in the past year of not being able to do that, I realized, man, there were a lot of moments in time that I didn't take a step back to go, man, I should be a lot more grateful for what I get to do. And yeah, I hope for sure right now, especially because I can't play a show, but when things start to open back up, that's something that I don't slowly forget over time. Because I think when you live a life with gratitude, there's a little bit more of sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Liveliness to everything you do.
Yeah, I got it. Awesome. Andrew, Sergio, thank you so much for being on the show. There's some side notes. This is my personal opinion. Like literally, guys, thank you. You guys literally made my day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having
Thanks for
us
having me.
on.
All right, guys,
Really
take care. Have
appreciate
a
it.
great week.